Picture yourself in a museum that you've never visited before. Everything has its own story, waiting to be told. Now picture yourself in a white concrete room on a white concrete chair with a white concrete desk with a blank piece of paper on which you have to write the exact same thing 10 million times. The first image is what it's like for me when I'm all alone in a room full of color. The second image is what it's like for me when I have to sit down at school quietly and do seat work. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. I am here to talk to you about something very important. This something affects more than 1 million kids in Canada, including me. This something is called ADHD. ADHD stands for Attention Deficit Hyperactivity Disorder. We hear the label a lot, but what does it really mean? Attention deficit. That means you have more trouble paying attention than most. Hyperactivity is a word made up of 2 parts. Hyper means abnormally or excessively high. Activity is about the actions we do. So if you have ADHD, you have more trouble paying attention than most. At the same time, you have so much energy that it feels like you're being driven by a motor from the moment you wake up until the second you finally fall asleep. So picture yourself back in the museum. Every detail needs exploring. Not only do the pictures on the wall need careful exploration, but the tiles on the floor and the bricks on the walls are laid out in such a way that you can't help wondering what purpose they serve and why the designer laid them in that particular pattern. Then you notice the textures of everything around you. You see the smoothness of the glass on the picture. You imagine the softness of the grass against your feet in the foreground of the picture as you walk out into the meadow towards the prickly straw of the barn floor in the background. All the while, you can hear the rustling of the leaves in the painting, while the birds in the tree beside the barn begin to sing. You are aware that in reality, you are with your friends, and if they call your name, you know it, but you're not yet sure that you're ready to listen. You see the details, and the details of the details are far too beautiful to be neglected or interrupted. At times, people might think you're having trouble paying attention, but really you are just entirely focused on more than they could ever imagine. Now go back to that white room with the white paper in front of you. This is you being given an assignment that leaves no room for imagination. For instance, this is you being asked to write a summary of a novel you just devoured. The summary is in your mind in such massive detail that it's nearly impossible to find the right words to describe it the way you see it and feel it. In reality, this task would take days upon days to complete. Even then, it wouldn't be quite as exciting as you'd like it to be. Why write a summary when you can read the whole book and get every last detail? People with ADHD are often accused of being too hyper and not being cool. The truth is that we can't help our hyperactivity. It's part of who we are, and we can't change that just because you tell us to. We don't need to upset, embarrass, or inconvenience you in any way. We're just impulsive and fun-loving, and we're interested in everything. Our timing might seem a little off, but our stopwatch never stops. So next time you see someone who's acting differently than what you'd expect, try not to accuse them for acting that way. Instead, try to think about why they might be doing so and what they might have to offer. Some of us might just have ADHD. We may blurt things out when you don't want us to, and we may have messy desks and seem like we're being antisocial, but we are also high-energy, excitable people who have lots of drive to change the world through our constant flow of ideas and actions. We are Beethoven, John F. Kennedy, Leonardo da Vinci, Alexander Graham Bell, Jim Carrey, Prince Charles, and Walt Disney. We are Albert Einstein, Thomas Edison, John Lennon, Mozart, Babe Ruth, Will Smith, Sir Isaac Newton, Robin Williams, the Wright brothers, and me.